What's up, guys? David Land here, bringing you another Diecast review, this time on the 2015 Indianapolis 500 winning Penske Chevrolet Dallara of Juan Pablo Montoya. This is produced by Greenlight Collectibles in the 1/18 scale, and as you can see by the gigantic silver sticker on there, it's an IMS/IndyCar, if you go to the track, exclusive 1 of 500 figure version diecast. These are fantastic collector's items. I picked up the Ryan Hunter-Reay for like $35 last year. I wasn't going to try my chances again this year with the Juan Pablo Montoya, seeing as he's a fairly popular driver, particularly in his home country of Colombia. And it's on the new Chevrolet Aero Kit, which is pretty much accurate in terms of the Aero Kit mold, though there is one little bit that we will point out that they just didn't put on there, which I'm fine with, by the way. I'm not complaining about that. But this diecast does have some problems, and we'll point those out as well. But I needed to pick this up because I really want to have a figure version collection. I started with the Ryan Hunter-Reay. I've picked up the Juan Pablo Montoya, and then I hope to have the Alexander Rossi, which, if you believe what we've been hearing, will be coming out in November. So that's fantastic. So let's take a look at the box first off, because these are special boxes. As you can see, Juan Pablo Montoya taking the checkered flag, 1 of 500 pieces for the figure version anyway. There is Juan Pablo holding the traditional bottle of milk along with the winner's wreath. And then you've got some Team Penske and Verizon IndyCar Series stuff. And of course, it's an adult collectible, even though there's really nothing adult about it in terms of sponsorship. And here's a photo of all the happy team members getting the Borg Warner trophy. It's great that this comes in a slipcover. And then on the back, you have the traditional day after photo with a probably hungover Juan Pablo Montoya and him sitting in his Verizon Chevrolet. And here's what you get on the bottom of the slipcover. Not a whole lot to go over here, but just to show it off. And there's the price I paid for it. Did not get a deal on this one. So when you take the slipcover off, obviously there's usually a diecast in there, but I decided not to put it back in just to get it out again for video purposes. And this is what you would get on the regular version. I believe the slipcover comes with both the non-figure version and the figure version, but obviously the figure version is the one you want to get for the collector's item reasons, and frankly it's $5 more to get something that's becomes very, very valuable, as evidenced by the Tony Kanaan 2013 figure version. Good luck finding that one for under $100. But here's a description of Juan Pablo Montoya and his 2015 Indy 500 victory. I'll be going over that quite a bit during this review. And then the bottom of this box is very much the same as the bottom of the slipcover, as you can see. So yeah, an interesting box, very nice to get exclusive packaging, but this isn't what you're looking for. You're looking for the diecast, so let's take a look at it. So here it is, the 2015 Indianapolis 500 winner out of the box. And I have to say I'm very happy to have this, despite the fact that there are some problems with it. But I think Greenlight, again, as I've bought 4 of these now, the Leo, the Dixon from this year, the Autograph White Car, and of course the 2015 winner. I think Greenlight did a great job with the molding on the Chevy Aero Kits. They look pretty much accurate to the 2015 season, at least in terms of a generic Chevy Aero Kit. There is one bit that was run on the Indy 500 winner that is not present on the diecast. We'll take a look at that later, but that's really just a nitpick. In terms of the whole package, I think it looks pretty good on this car in terms of the molding that Greenlight did, and I am very ecstatic to get the Honda Aero Kit later on with the Rossi Indy 500 winner. Now, something to point out is some of the decaling errors on this car. We have to do it. We have to talk about it because it's a problem. We'll start from the nose of the car because for whatever reason they had some problems here. The red should come up about halfway on the nose and then kind of curl up a bit earlier. For whatever reason, it does not. In fact, it kind of gives you a white nose. It really should be a more red nose. Again, these are nitpicks, but you kind of have to say it. You have to point it out, because if we don't hold companies accountable for quality and you know, what products we buy, or the products that we do buy, they won't ever improve. And I trust Greenlight because their 2014 Hunter-Reay Indy 500 winner was darn near perfect, except for the fact that, of course, they had the wrong bumpers on it, but whatever. This is another problem. For whatever reason, there's too much white in between the black and the red. It really should have just been a very, very thin strip of white, rather than a thin strip of white and a thin strip of black. The black should actually be whiter. Again, that's a nitpick. Another nitpicky thing is the fact that the Verizon P1 award is a 2014. Not sure what was going on there, but oh well. But now we get to the big problem, which is the Verizon logo on the engine cover, which is the only Verizon logo, because the 2015 Chevrolet Aero Kit had a lot of stuff all over the side pods, and Roger Penske said, we're not putting anything on the side pods, we're going to put the main logo on the engine cover. And it doesn't look very good on the Greenlight version. It should really start here and come up just to underneath the Chevrolet logo, and for whatever reason it starts over here and comes underneath the roll hoop. Not accurate on this side, but at least they got the size right on this side, and you will see here the size is different and also wrong on this side. That's a big problem, and it's really unfortunate that this happened on the Indy 500 winning diecast. It's almost forgivable if they would have done it on a regular season car, but on an Indy 500 winner, that's kind of unacceptable. It's a really unfortunate too, because I was wondering, like, how could this have happened? And I was thinking, well, maybe they can't print here with their decaling. But then I realized on my Scott Dixon, they have sponsors down here where they printed. So I have no idea what was going on here, why this looks like this. It's really unfortunate. But, I mean, and that's the other problem, because everything else is pretty much great, but that really kills the look of it for me. But I'm still, you know, that's annoying. So again, Greenlight, hope if you are watching a review of a car that you guys are already sold pretty much out of by this point, you know, we trust you. It's just when you screw up, please don't screw up the Indy 500 winner. So hopefully the Rossi will look a little more accurate than this. But in terms of non-nitpicky stuff and stuff I will congratulate Greenlight for. Again, the molding fantastic. On the top of the car, pretty much all the logos are correct, and then they did throw in some extra detailing here on the rear suspension. For whatever reason, Penske was running this interesting kind of hybrid. I'm not sure if they were welding different suspension pieces together or what, but they did have these silver stripes down their rear suspensions. You can look at photos of this car from 2015, and you will see that that's accurate. So whatever they were doing, it's interesting, and I love these little details that Greenlight throws in on their Indy 500 winners. There's not as many cool little Easter eggy details as there were on the Ryan Hunter-Reay Indy 500 winner. That was a fantastic diecast, even though it had the wrong bumpers and whatnot. But you can see a little Team Penske logo right here on the rear attenuator. And then you've got the number 2. Fantastic. I wonder, I kind of hope for next year they'll update the bumpers so that they have the little rabbit ears for the Chevys, but somehow I don't think they will. Indy 500 tires, of course, for the Rossi. These will be very interesting because they'll have all the Firestone Indy 500 winners' names on there. And then you've got some good-looking decaling here. I do like the sponsors on this car. It looks... It's the thing is, I don't want to hate on this car too much because I do like it. It will look good next to my Ryan Hunter-Reay figure version. But, I mean, it's so close. That's the other thing. It's not like they totally screwed up. It's close to the point where it's annoying that they screwed up. But here's the big Aero Kit part, and I'll even get the box back out to show this. So if you remember, if you watched my Aero Kit Explained video from this year, Chevy has an option, and they usually run it only on the road courses, but they do break it out for the ovals at some points. They have a little sponsor blocker extension here, which is a little block and kind of a under tray extension bit that they can bolt on here. And it starts with a big block here, a big block that they usually paint in the sponsor colors, and then there's a carbon fiber bit that kind of helps this air channel to the rear wing, I guess. I'm not an aerodynamicist, but that's kind of what I speculate that is for. But Juan Pablo Montoya ran one of these asymmetrically just on the left side of the car, as you can see right here. Now this was such a small detail, I didn't notice it until my friend Diecast Reviews pointed it out to me, but it's interesting nonetheless in terms of aerodynamics, what some of the teams will run and the little things. I think only Penske did this in the Indy 500 that year. I'll have to look back, but I'm pretty sure Ganassi didn't do it, and I'm pretty sure Ed Carpenter Racing didn't do it, and those are the two front-running Chevy teams that aren't named Penske. But fairly interesting, and something that's cool to point out. I don't blame Greenlight for not putting that on there. Again, when you're making a diecast, you have to kind of do a generic version, particularly when there's so many aero options available to the teams. You kind of have to do a generic version and then just kind of hope that the generic version of the Aero Kit is the one that looks the most like all the cars all the time. So I don't blame them on that, but it's something interesting to point out from a perspective of, look at the Aero Kits, look at the Aero bits. I'm so mad that they're going away in 2018 and there's no development for 2017. But that's water under the bridge at this point. Let's take a look at the figure, the main thrust of the figure version of the car. So let's take a look at it. So here's a look at our Juan Pablo Montoya figure that we do get with the diecast. It's essentially a 3 3/4 inch figure, but it does not have any articulation or anything like you would expect from, say, a Star Wars figure, I guess. This is not I don't think this is actually representative of something that was actually done in real life. For whatever reason, we don't have a face sculpt of Juan Pablo. He did do the double fist salute here, but he had his helmet off. So a fantasy figure from Greenlight. I wonder if Juan Pablo said they couldn't do a face sculpt of him. We'll never know. But regardless, I do really like the molding on this figure, and it seems a bit anatomically correct. But you do get some very good molding on this. It's a nice looking figure. The decaling looks excellent. The logos on the suit are where they should be. And in fact, you can even see like the Firestone logo is like small because of course he's crunched it up because he's pumping his fists. But this does look very nice next to the diecast. So it's definitely, if you do pull the trigger on this, I would say get the figure version. It's only $5 more, and I would say it makes it a better deal, and particularly for the Rossi, I think the figure version is going to be one of those that sells out, not just because it's a Napa car, but because it's the 100th Indy 500 winner. And there are only going to be 500 made of these figure versions. I would say this is a better figure than the Ryan Hunter-Reay, and in fact it stands a lot better than the Ryan Hunter-Reay figure. The Ryan Hunter-Reay figure had trouble standing up because they kind of positioned his legs or his feet that they weren't very stable, and of course he was holding up the milk bottle, which also kind of tipped him over a little bit. So this one's pretty solid on the ground. It does not fall over very easily. And it's, I think it's a very good figure, so I would say definitely purchase the figure version if you're still looking for this. So let's go in for some final thoughts on this Juan Pablo Montoya Indy 500 winning diecast. But first things first, I just realized with my Greenlight IndyCar 118 collection, I can recreate a very pivotal moment in the 2015 Indy 500. You can see my Juan Pablo Montoya car here. And we're going around under yellow fairly easy, we're coming back to the restart. We're not worried about it. But what's this? A wild Simona appears. Oh no! Oh no, she got my bumper taken out. Interestingly enough, you can recreate the pivotal moment in the race where Juan Pablo Montoya got his bumper knocked off under the caution by Simona Di Silvestro because they made the TE connectivity car from 2015. So this has been a look at the Juan Pablo Montoya 2015 Indy 500 winning figure version diecast. I think this is the first review on YouTube of this, so if you did enjoy it, hit the like button and let me know in the comments if you have it or are willing to pick it up, or if you have the 164 version. I have that as well, but I won't be getting that out of the box because I have a even larger collection of 164 scale Indy 500 winners. So thank you guys so much for watching. This has been David Land on YouTube, and we'll see you in the next video.